I'd like to call the meeting to order. Please rise and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Certainly. Supervisor Moore.
Present.
Councilwoman McNamara.
Present.
Councilman Iacili.
Present.
Councilman Powell.
Present.
Councilman Martell.
Present.
All right, thank you. I move to approve the minutes from the regular town board meeting of August 12th, 2025.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Madam Clerk, would you please read the communications?
Certainly. We have received the following communications in the office of the town clerk. Public notices from the New York State Liquor License 30-day advance notice to local municipality. The listed new application was received. New York State Office of Cannabis Management notification to municipality from the establishment listed. Annual financial disclosure statements, filings from the listed individuals, and we have received correspondence, emails, and letters regarding the following. Gabreski Airport Community Advisory Board Annual Meeting Report. New York State DOT Preventative Maintenance Bridge Repairs along Sunrise Highway, September 3rd through December 22nd, 2026, from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Proposed change of zone application entitled Mariner Housing LLC, 1100 Majors Path, Southampton, Planning Board application for 4383, 4377, and 4357 Noyak Road, Noyak. The following bid and request for proposal was received on August 13th, a bid for Southampton Animal Shelter Sanitary System Upgrade. And that concludes the communications for this meeting's agenda.
Thank you. There are 8 walk-on resolutions that I'd like to move to add to the agenda.
Second. Sorry.
The first is Town Board Resolution ID number 50653, notice public hearing to consider amending Town Code Chapter 298 taxation to amend Article 5 exemption for senior citizens to change a definition for income for purposes of the exemptions. Second is Town Board Resolution ID number 50654, notice of public hearing to consider amending Town Code Chapter 298 taxation to amend Article 11, partial exemption for disabled persons with limited incomes to change a definition of income for purposes of exemptions. Town Board Resolution ID number 50711 to award and authorize the supervisor to sign a contract with Chesterfield Associates, Inc. for the North Sea Road Shoreline Stabilization. Town Board Resolution ID number 50720, notice of public hearing to consider all water quality improvement projects proposed for 2025 Community Preservation Fund 20% Water Quality Improvement Plan grant funding. Town Board Resolution ID number 50725, the warrant number 16. Town Board Resolution ID number 50733, notice of public hearing to consider a change of target area for a parcel currently designated as agricultural lands preservation target area to open space target area for CPF acquired parcels located at 66, 68, and 78 Sag Road and 135 Poxabog Lane in the village of Sagaponack, and to consider amending the CPF management and stewardship plan. Town Board Resolution ID number 50735 to authorize a change order for the Bridgehampton and Sagaponack Beach Erosion Control District nourishment projects. And Town Board Resolution ID number 50736 to recall and amend Town Board Resolution 2025-1008 award and authorize the supervisor to sign a contract with G. Melomo, Inc. for the Southampton Animal Shelter Sanitary System Upgrade. I move to add these resolutions to the agenda.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That was a mouthful. Well, we have special occasion today, right, before we move ahead with the public hearings. Cindy, did you want to introduce?
Yeah, I did. Actually, we have Boy Scout member John, I'm going to probably say this wrong, Cornorens here to present to the town the project he is proposing at Squiretown Park. For you, Cup, I just want to mention that I did ask Kristen Doulos, and she did say the Scouts are very, very active at Squiretown Park. Other Eagle Scout projects at Squiretown Park have included removing the dilapidated fencing and installing new split rail fence along the bluff for safety, rehabilitating other tent platforms in the park, repairing and painting the outdoor covered shelter, clearing brush from trails, pruning back tree branches on trails, installing trail cameras, and also installing bat houses. So John is here to add to the amenities at Squiretown Park. So John, if you would come up and let the board know what you plan on doing, that would be fantastic.
Why don't you go to the podium? That would be better.
My name is John Cornerens, currently working towards the rank of Eagle Scout. For my Eagle Scout project, I plan to, the tent platforms at Squiretown Park, many of them have been burned, and they're not really usable right now, so I plan to go in there and rebuild a couple of them. So the project, I have to organize volunteers to come help me out there, fundraise.
You're going to have to buy all the materials?
Yeah. So, I think 5 platforms Mr. Schneider, the beneficiary there, wanted me to do.
Mm-hmm.
And they're used by the Scouts and other groups?
Yeah, so a lot of youth groups and the Boy Scouts especially use them, so it just allows more people to camp there. Have you guys been out there? It's really beautiful, the bluffs, camping right on the bluffs, yeah. So I'm grateful for the opportunity to give back to that camp. As I just said, really beautiful, really nice hiking around that area. I think we did the Bay to Bay hike. It's always a nice one. Yeah, so thank you for the opportunity to speak here.
Thank you.
Thank you for that.
Do we want to take it out of order?
Good luck with your project. I'm sure it's going to be a success. Yeah, sure, we could take that resolution out of order.
It's on page 5.
I move to take Town Board Resolution 2025-998 out of order.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Town Board Resolution 2025-998, accept Eagle Scout donation from John Cornerens.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you,
Thank you.
John.
You don't have to stay for the whole meeting.
Oh, do you want to take can we get a picture of you with
Yeah,
the
let's
town
get
board?
one.
Come on
That'd
up.
be great.
And your other scout mates, if you'd like.
John, when you come down, I'm going to send you the stall.
Oh,
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good luck.
All right, back to. Okay, let's go forward with our public hearings. Madam Clerk, would you please read the notice for the first public hearing?
Public hearing number 1, to consider establishing a park district known as the East Quogue Park District in the hamlet of East Quogue.
Good evening, Madam Supervisor, members of the Town Board. For the record, Deputy Town Attorney Kathleen Murray. This is a continuation of a public hearing held on August 12th regarding the establishment of an East Quogue Park District. Because this is a continued hearing, I'll just reiterate some of the key elements of the proposed district. Specifically, community members hope to create a park district in order to replace the trees on Main Street with native species, improve the East Quogue Village Green, maintain hanging baskets and urns along Main Street, provide seasonal enhancements for the Village Green and Main Street, and maintain the gardens at the post office and the Bay Street Marina. Pursuant to the map, plan, and report, which was filed in the town clerk's office on July 22nd, the boundaries of the proposed park district mimic that of the East Quogue School District boundaries. The maximum amount proposed to be expended for these improvements is $75,000. The expense of the improvements shall be assessed, levied, and collected on an ad valorem basis. Thus, the estimated cost to a typical property in the proposed district boundaries is $22.82 per year. In this district, a typical property has an assessed value of approximately $700,000. The tax rate for the proposed district, that is the cost per thousand, is estimated to be 0.0326. So the cost for a property assessed at $500,000 is $16.30 per year. $750,000 would be $24.45 per year, and $1 million would be $32.60 per year. The purpose of this hearing is to again gather public input and comments within the community as it relates to the creation of this district. If the board is so inclined, there is a resolution on the agenda later this evening for your consideration establishing the East Quogue Park District. That resolution is subject to a permissive referendum if and when you are ready to adopt it. Does the board have any questions for me at this time?
Kathleen, just as a reiteration, those adjustments in the tax numbers that you just reviewed, that is only specific to East Quogue Hamlet residents?
Correct. It's only specific to those people within the proposed district boundaries.
Thank you.
And would you explain also about the permissive referendum, just for?
Sure, absolutely.
What that means.
So pursuant to New York State Town Law Article 12A, the establishment of a special improvement district is subject to permissive referendum. So what that means is if and when you're so inclined to adopt a resolution establishing the district, for 30 days after that resolution gets adopted, you can't do anything. You have to wait and see if there are petitions filed by property owners within those district boundaries indicating that they would like for this question to go to a vote of everybody within the district. The threshold for those petitions is either 5% of the property owners within the proposed boundaries or 100 property owners, whichever is less. So here it would be 100 property owners. And those petitions would have to be filed in the town clerk's office within 30 days. It's also published in the paper. So after that time, should you have no petitions, then we can adopt another resolution formally establishing the order.
And just to that point, though, if that was to come about, it is not a very simple put it forward to the community for a vote. It is creating a voter roll, which is costly and time consuming, and it wouldn't even be that every resident would get a vote. It would be a property owner, and if there is an LLC that has an ownership, we would have to prove who the owner of the
Yes.
LLC is, and they would get one vote.
Yes.
And is it if a husband and wife if they jointly own the property, they get one vote?
No, if you're on the deed, you get a vote. So pursuant to New York State Town Law Article 12 and 12A, this specific section is Section 209. The vote is very specific, and we have to create an entire voter registrar, work closely with the town clerk's office to do that. Unfortunately, that's not something that the Board of Elections can help us with. We have to create that voter registrar by looking at each property deed and see who is the owner on that deed. If an LLC or a partnership owns the property, then they are entitled to one vote. If you have more than one property that you own within the district, you are only entitled to one vote. And if there's a trust, then we have to look at those specific trust documents and see what they look like in order to then create that voter registrar. So it's quite a bit of work.
I just wanted it clear to everybody that it's not a simple, everybody gets to stay and vote in. It's a very specific, laid out, long, expensive process.
It can
Is there a
be.
time frame in which we're doing this?
In the event that there's a referendum, or
I got you. All right.
Yeah. hopefully not.
We haven't had any
Okay,
negative
yeah, I was
feedback
gonna
on this,
say.
so it would be completely
That's
when
right,
I
I was
say.
having a flashback from a different vote.
We made it very clear to the community when we had our meetings. We did make it very clear to the community that the board was going to entertain this, and we only wanted to do this if there was broad support and there wasn't a lot of, if we got a lot of feedback that it wasn't something that people wanted, we weren't going to go forward with it. And to date, we have not gotten any negative feedback. And it was more asking questions than negative feedback, so.
Does anybody on the board have any other questions for Kathleen at the moment?
I'm good.
Good. Thank you, Kathleen.
Well, I don't have any cards for this public hearing, so let me ask Kevin, is there anyone on Zoom that wishes to be heard?
No one on Zoom.
Well, we have had several meetings with all of the Hamlet organizations, so if there's no other comments, then I move to close the public hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Madam Clerk, would you please read the notice for the second public hearing?
Public hearing number 2, to consider the acquisition of a historic preservation and conservation easement on property located at 149 South Country Road in the hamlet of Remsenburg, Spionk, and amend the Community Preservation Project Plan and the CPF Management Stewardship Plan to include said property.
Good evening, Madam Supervisor and respective town board members. Daniel McCormick, Assistant Town Attorney, assigned to the Community Preservation Department. CPF is pleased to present hearings number 2 and 3 regarding the same subject matter. That is the proposed purchase of an historical facade restriction in the form of an easement. Hearing number 2 and specifically involves property located at 149 South Country Road in Rensenburg, as owned by Mr. DeSalvo. That property characteristic involves the following. It's on approximately 1.3 acres. It has living space of 2,785 feet. It is zoned residential 40, and the home in question was built circa 1820. If you look at the maps, I will point to those areas. First, the aerial here in the yellow outline is the aerial view of 149 South Country in Remsenburg. And this is
Dan,
that.
I just wanted to make sure we gave enough time to Kevin to shift the cameras over.
Sure.
Kevin, can you just move over a little bit with the camera so that, thank you. Okay, go ahead. Sorry, Dan.
Thank you for the clarification. So again, the first area is the aerial of the neighborhood in question, and this is the subject property at 149 South Country Road in Remsenburg. This is the actual house and structure that we're asking the town board to consider for the historical facade easement. You will note the front facade as well as the rear facade would be the areas of restriction, including this side. It would exclude the rear area of the house. I also want to note that we've personally viewed this property in question, and the view shed is extremely favorable to the public in being able to see this property as they are traversing the street area of 149 South Country Road. Two other matters that I want to raise at this point. I want to advise you that Julie Green, the town's historian, has graciously made herself available this evening if there are any questions by the town board regarding additional historical perspective. And I also want to advise you that Ed Wisnowski, chair for the Landmarks Board, has also graciously made himself available. I believe he'll be on the Zoom call. Why I say that now at this point is we are presenting this for your consideration. However, this matter has not been formally reviewed by the Landmarks Board regarding a formal designation as a landmark in terms of their recommendation to the town board for approval. That will be taking place at a subsequent date. We have been advised, though, that the Landmarks Board is in general support of this project for that designation, and we also understand with respect to the easement as well. So I did want to make that known to you. At some future date, based on the Landmark Board review, we would possibly be coming back at that point, assuming it's a favorable response, for the actual funding resolution with respect to the purchase. For this particular easement, the actual amount would be $215,000, which is based on appraisal information.
Dan, if we were to adopt this before the Landmarks Board gives an opinion, a recommendation on this, does that, and let's say that we adopt this, but the Landmarks Board hypothetically says they don't recommend this, is there any conflict there?
Ultimately, the Landmarks Board is advisory in nature to the town board with respect to this particular matter. So that would be a consideration at that point as the town board. But again, my understanding is that they are viewing this favorably at this particular juncture. Julie can speak more to that as she has had contact with them directly. And again, she's graciously made herself available if you want to talk to her.
But Dan, you said that you wouldn't be putting forward a resolution to,
To purchase the
allocate
actual
yeah,
easement.
to do that until the Landmarks Board has ruled on the.
That is
ruled on-
correct.
Is
Because
it-
your ability, just to clarify, Madam Supervisor, your ability to purchase this is based on its historical designation. In effect, we put the cart before the horse because we're presenting this in a public hearing format for your consideration. But the resolution to acquire and purchase that would be subject to formal designation and the recommendation of the Landmarks Board. So we would not proffer that acquisition reso until that time. Does that help?
Yes, thank you. Is it, have we ever had a situation where we've done this for just 3 faces of the home and not the entire home? I believe you just said it wouldn't apply to the rear of the home.
That's correct, because of the viewshed nature of the property. So the benefit to the public is that from South Country, they can view, I can tell you especially based on my own personal observation when we went out, they can view the front very well, and they can view the side area because of the topography and the way the road curves at that location to be able to actually see front and what would be the southern side of the property. The area over here is blocked by another residence and a tree line at that location. So the easement would cover all 3 sides, not the rear, and principally because you cannot see the rear from any public area on South Country Road.
But the town has done
Yeah,
something similar to this? Because in the last year or 2, I don't remember something like that where it's limited to certain sides of the house.
Correct. It's generally limited to the sides that are afforded a view shed by the public. Since we're expending taxpayer money, it's being done for the public's ability to actually view the house in question and as a benefit to the general characteristic of the surrounding neighborhood.
I do recall, I think, and Julie, I'm sure could speak to it, but there was one in Sagaponic, Bridgehampton, there was one.
560
Yeah,
Ridge Lane
right.
did, it's just the 3
Right.
elevations, it's
Yeah.
not the rear.
And Dock Road as well.
Oh,
Dock Road.
all right, I must
So
have
we
missed that part of it.
But we
Yes.
do have some that go, the entire building is under easement restricted.
If the property affords that type of view.
But Julie, can you give us some background? It looks very similar to other residences in the area. Can you give us some historical background on it?
Would you
Thank
like
you,
Julie
Dan.
to step up? Great. Sure, absolutely.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
So, as Dan mentioned, good evening, Julie Green, town historian. Thank you very much, Madam Supervisor and the board. And I just want to go back to the Landmarking Historic District Board. They have already sent in their pending the facade easement being granted, that they will now reaffirm their position, positive position on sending this through to be landmarked to you all. So it fulfills a bunch of different requirements of the Landmarks Board. It's got a special character of historic aesthetic interest and value as part of the cultural, political, economic, and social history of the area, region, state, and nation. So kind of the family that lived here, the Tuttle family, built the house in about 1820. It's been updated and restored and renovated along the way over its last 205 years or so. It's identified with historic personage, which is criteria B. The ownership of Willis B. Tuttle, who's a well-known correspondent for the Brooklyn Daily Eagle, the Riverhead News Review, and I want to just put a little specific thing that's personal to me is that he had a column in the newspaper in the County Review called Spionk and Remsenburg, and through the 50s and 60s, and it's something that I searched through all the newspaper databases, and it's wonderful to have this gentleman who lived in this home, he was the last Tuttle owner, to have his perspective on the history of his area that he lived in, and his family has an enormous amount of history. So I benefit from this gentleman's work. I like the houses are wonderful, the historic nature of them, the architecture is beautiful. This is a wonderful house at the bend in the road at South Country Road. But it's also, for me, it's also about the people that live there, the personages, the people that, the home is not a home without the family and the people that live there that stewarded it for all these years. So it's really important that
that we recognize that as well, especially given his nature as a correspondent. He wrote for all the newspapers, local newspapers out here. And it also embodies distinguishing characteristics of an architectural type. This is a distinctive side gable colonial revival style dwelling that retains much of its historic building fabric and has an exterior appearance that remained relatively unchanged in the last 50 years. So the Tuttle settled in Remsenburg and built the house in 1820. Its very setting on the road, slightly angled, shows off the house owned and occupied by 5 generations of Tuttles, and early settlers of Spinunk, and they sold it out of the family in 1978. And it should just be noted that the residence is visible from the public right-of-ways, which is part of why we put a historic facade easement, is what the public can see. So this house in particular has just the 3 sides, the 3 elevations. The south, north sides, and east, which is the front of the house. So that's all I have to add to that. Did that answer your question, Supervisor?
So I'm curious, because the shutters look new, what kind of front materials are on there?
Yeah, it's
Windows
been
look pretty
recently
new,
restored. I think it's recently has a new roof, but that's all part and parcel for a house of this age, that it has to be restored. You know, there's maintenance on it. So it will be kept just as it is now for future.
Thank you.
What did you say was 78?
The family sold it in 1978, so they had owned it from 1820 to 1978. I don't know if Ed's on.
Does anybody have any questions for Julie?
Any other questions? No?
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Julie. Kevin, is there anyone on Zoom that wishes to be heard on this second public hearing?
Yes, there is.
Right, Ed was talking.
Hi, Ed.
Good evening, Supervisor and members of the Town Board and Town Clerk Shermeyer. I want to speak in support of the acquisition of a historic easement on this property. Just for some little context, the Landmarks Board originally became engaged on this property with an application being filed in October of 2020. And as a consequence of a number of issues, COVID, change in personnel in various operations of town government, the first go-round that we had with this property became stalled, and subsequently the property was sold. And in 2023, the new owner also applied for landmark designation in conjunction with a historic easement opportunity, and it's been in this process ever since. The property, as Julie described, has a long history with the Tuttle family, many generations. The interior of the house has been documented photographically by Bill Hine and Stephanie Davis, both in 2020 and again in 2023. And just as a matter of procedure, Stephanie will be sending along an official recommendation for designation to members of the town board, as well as the historic report. I know that we have 3 new members of the town board who have not seen the historical report, as far as I know, and we're not familiar with this, so that will be a chance to learn and for the other members to refresh on the history of this property. So with that, you should be expecting within the next 10 days, 2 weeks, a memorandum of recommendation from Stephanie Davis for designation of this site as a Town of Southampton landmark. Thank you.
Thank you, Ed.
Thank you.
All right, Kevin, is there anyone else on Zoom that wishes to be heard?
That's it for Zoom for now.
Well, if no one else has any other comments or questions, I move to close the second public hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Madam Clerk, would you please read the notice for the third public hearing?
Public hearing number 3, to consider the acquisition of a historic preservation and conservation easement on property located at 11 Walnut Avenue in the hamlet of East Quogue, and amend the Community Preservation Project Plan and the CPF Management Stewardship Plan to include said property.
Hello again. For the record, Daniel McCormick, Assistant Town Attorney, assigned to the Community Preservation Department. This third hearing likewise involves a proposal for the town's consideration to purchase an historical restriction in the terms of the facade for both the front area as well as the side. This property is located at 11 Walnut Avenue in East Quogue, is owned by Lars and Kelly Fitter. The property dimensions are as follows. The property is sited on 0.5 acres, 1/2 acre. The living space involves 2,160 square feet, and this property is zoned R40 with respect to that district. This house was built circa 1892, thereabouts, and I would like to show on the map the particular area in question. So I'll show and point to the aerial of the property, as highlighted again by a yellow border with respect to the neighborhood characteristics, and an aerial view of the property coinciding with the actual home in question at 11 Walnut Avenue with respect to this particular photo. Likewise, I would want to give Kevin the opportunity to hone in on that and focus on that for purposes of the hearing. I likewise indicate that, as I stated before, with respect to this particular property, it affords a wonderful public view shed, so the public can see this property from the street area. As you note on Walnut Avenue, you can see that it offers a view of the property as the house is in close proximity to the street area. Likewise, this matter is and will be subject to consideration by the Landmarks Board, as Chairman Wisnowski indicated before. And Julie, again, is here to speak to the individual historical components of this particular property and the merits of this particular purchase as well, and she's available to do that.
Dan, is it both sides of the home?
Yes, it is technically all 3 sides, front and the side view, as you can see from that street perspective. That is correct. Yeah, and we, for purposes of the legal components, we do define the building exterior as related to the facade, the exterior portions of the house. So there is language in the actual easement that speaks to that as well.
Mm-hmm. So in both instances, the homeowner could add on to the back of the home. That's not restricted.
That's correct.
Just not the front and the sides.
But that's a good point. They can add to the back. They can modify, subject to obviously building department and planning board approval if necessary, but they cannot derogate from the purposes of the easement with respect to the historical facade. So for example, they can't build something that is so out of character in the back of the house as attached that would derogate from the actual historical perspective of the home at that particular
Does the
point.
same go for the former?
That is correct. Yes, and that's standard language that we utilize in the easement as a form. That is correct.
Somehow the building
That would be
department
included.
becomes aware of that if in the future, years later, an application comes in for something in the rear, that would show up in the town's records for the building department to be aware.
That's correct. That's my understanding, especially through the GIS system, which has notations to that effect.
We would require a certificate of appropriateness, so the landmarks board would be, if anything was to go into the building department about this house, it would be flagged. And then the land would be referred to the landmarks board for, new steps on the front porch. Anything would go through the landmarks board for a certificate of appropriateness.
Okay.
I also note that the proposed purchase price is $116,000 with respect to this restriction as well. But again, subject to landmarks review and recommendation to this town board for formal approval.
Thank you, Dan.
You're welcome.
Julie, did you want to tell us anything about this particular home?
So recently, we had some trouble defining exactly when it was built, and we recently found some newspaper articles, which I like to go to, thank you, showing that this house was built, actually, the property was bought in 1891, and the house was probably built quickly thereafter. It's a lovely farmhouse vernacular. It just kind of fits the bill, and it was built by Herman Ellsworth. Oh my gosh, I just lost his last name. Terrell, who the Terrell family were a big builder family in East Quogue. They built many of the homes, summer cottages in Quogue. Herman was the son of Richard Schuyler Terrell, and they ran the bathing stations, which was just to the west of the Tiana Life Saving Station. Those buildings were all destroyed during the hurricane of 1938. But the Terrell family was very active in Southampton civic things. Herman, who built this house, was the seventh man on the Southampton life-saving crew. So it's he was called the winter man. They hired an extra man to come on board during the winter. So these are all things that we're learning about for the museum at the Tiana Life Saving Station. And I also want to note that the second owner was B. Irving Downs. And he was born and bred in East Quogue, and for 8 years he served the Southampton tax assessor and receiver. It was all one position at the time. So he died in 1949. So there's just the people that live there that are important to note as well. But it's a beautiful house, beautiful farmhouse. Mr. Terrell, who built the house, was a stonemason, so he probably did all the stone foundation work for many of the houses that are in East Quogue. The family were big builders, as I mentioned. So it's a wonderful house.
Thank you.
Have the Terrell River in the Richards area as well.
Oh, there is?
Yeah.
Oh.
And it's a county park named Terrell River County Park.
Kevin, is there anyone on Zoom for this public hearing?
Yes, there is.
It's going to lovely park. Nice trail. Down to the beach.
Hello, Ed.
Hello again. I should have killed two birds with one stone before. 11 Walnut Avenue has received a favorable decision by the Landmark Board to recommend designation to the town board. This originally came up to the Landmarks Board in July 2023, and so it predates the service of some present members of the town board. And in the same manner, Stephanie Davis and Bill Hine did research the house, did a report on the house that the Landmarks Board found favorable, and they will be sending, Stephanie will be sending along a memorandum recommending designation as per the Landmarks Board decision. and that should be within the next 2 weeks.
Very good, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Does anyone have any other questions about this one? Then I move to close the public hearing.
Second.
Oh, wait, is anyone else on Zoom, Kevin? Sorry.
No one else is on Zoom.
All in favor?
Aye.
Madam Clerk, would you please read the fourth and final notice for the public hearing?
Public hearing number 4, to accept a deed of residual fee from Blair K's Gaza for a property to be maintained as open space located at West Hampton, Suffolk County Tax Map number 900-333-17.1, pursuant to Southampton Town Code 244-4, obtaining a development right certificate, and 247 General Municipal Law of the State of New York.
Good evening, Madam Supervisor and Town Board and Town Clerk. For the record, I'm David Wilcox, Town Planning Director. And Sunday, I believe you have a map for the board handout there.
Thank you. We stamped them, thank you.
So while those are going down, the subject property is tax parcel 900-333 actually, I left a number out of there.
17.1. District 900.
It's probably 900-333-17.1. Yeah.
That's
Yeah, it's in the
heading, it says.
heading.
The heading's right.
Okay. So that property is outlined in red. If you look at both sides of that handout there, the one handout just shows the surrounding properties. The other side shows the surrounding publicly owned properties. This property is owned by Blair K. Gaza. It consists of 55,080 square feet of property, which is 1.26 acres. It's located in the town's CR 200 zoning district, which is the 5-acre zoning district, and located at West Hampton. The property has a development right allocation under our code of 0.2754 development rights, which is essentially the acreage of the property divided by the zoning district. The property is also located in the following critical environmental areas and overlay districts, those being the Pine Barrens Core Preservation Area, the Old File Map Overlay District, the Aquifer Protection Overlay Critical Area, the County Dwarf Pine Forest Critical Area, and also the County Special Groundwater Protection Critical Area, as well as the town CPF Acquisition Priority List. There is also a resolution for accepting the deed of dedication in your package if you're inclined to do that tonight. This is pretty straightforward. If you have any questions.
So Blair Gaza is gifting this property, so to speak, to the town,
Correct.
the deed to the property.
Essentially a gift in
exchange
exchange for the certificate of development rights.
To be placed somewhere else.
Correct.
How many development rights?
It's 0.2754 of a development right. Which sounds like a little, but when you have a bunch of these, they add up. And these are used for development in other old file maps where the planning board has determined that somebody can build a house. Most old file maps, you have to get development rights to build, and that's what these certificates are used for.
Dave is the development right guru for the town.
Family business. The Gazas. This.
Okay, well, that explains it. Anybody have any questions? Let's see if anyone's on Zoom. Thanks, Dave.
Thanks.
Kevin, is anyone on Zoom for this fourth public hearing?
Zoom. No one on Zoom.
Okay, thank you. Then I move to close the public hearing.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, let's, that brings us to public portion. We have a lot of cards today, so I just want to remind everyone that there's 3 minutes. We would appreciate it if you try to keep your comments to the 3 minutes. The first speaker is Carla Casper. And after Carla, it's Adrienne Woodcock.
Good evening, town board members and members of the public. I am one of the members of the Flanders Northampton Riverside CAC.
Just state your name for the record.
Carla Casper,
Thank you.
like the ghost.
You're here on behalf of the CAC for Flanders, Riverside, and
Yeah,
Northampton.
and my colleagues are here as well. So I have three things I would like to ask the board to consider. One is to fund our Head Start. This is critical, and Cindy's very aware of this. Thank you for your support in this, ma'am. The state has put up half, according to Long Island Head Start, of the 4 million, so 2 million more is needed. In these particular times, it's very, very difficult for our community, being not terribly wealthy, to come up with any way to make up the difference. So we're asking the board to consider funding our Head Start and getting that project done. The second thing that I'd like to talk to you about is again, not unknown, but the development, affordable housing that is proposed for Riverside. In talking to the Watermill CIC, they seem to feel that we should be asking for the Community Housing Fund to come to one of our CIC meetings and have Kara talk to us and the developer talk to us so that we can be assured that our low-income residents are getting the housing they need. And I got to tell you, I looked at the Beach Plum Villages in Nantucket, which was award-winning and financially self-sustaining. There are developments that can work. So we really want to work with Kara Buck and the CPF or the CHF or whatever, too many anagrams, to make this work for our community.
I'm happy to ask Kara to come to a meeting.
Yes, please, in October maybe.
I'll see if she's
And
available.
we really want to preserve the community's heritage, is a good way of putting it. And the final thing is, and this is not news, we do not want another gas station at our circle, and you will hear from others. We feel, and this is my idea, my husband's, that the courthouse could be at our circle, and we could have a town courthouse that was new and built to look older and be walkable to the county courthouse and revitalize the economy with good jobs. So
30 seconds.
we would really like you to consider putting a new courthouse near the other ones, and the walkability with our neighbors in Riverhead and the businesses would greatly benefit. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Adrian Woodall. Oh, there you are, Adrian. Hi.
Thanks for this opportunity to speak. I'm Adrian Woodduck. I live in Flanders, and I'm on the Bayview Pines committee, and we had a meeting that Trustee Scott Horowitz came to, and we have an annual beach meeting, and we wanted to learn more about the new plan for the water remediation, I think it's called, for Long Neck Boulevard. And we usually can't, it's usual that we can't actually use the beach because we had a 100-foot-long puddle that was about 8 inches deep. No, it was about 50 feet, it wasn't 100. And so we stayed on the road, and Scott answered a lot of questions, and it was very helpful. And as someone who's worked on projects like that, I think the new plan is so much better, and I think it's going to do a really good job. They addressed a lot of our concerns about where the water is coming from and so on and so forth. But we asked Scott some questions that he couldn't answer, and we're wondering if we know that there was money approved at a meeting at the end of '24, and we're wondering if that money is going to cover this new project. It has a much bigger boardwalk because it needs to have, the beach needs to be able, the fire trucks and ambulances need to get onto the beach. So I know that's a bigger expense. And there are a lot of other things that to my eye, would add to the cost. So we're wondering if the project, for one thing, if this new plan, if you've approved it, and if the original money is enough to cover this new plan? And if it's not, we're wondering, how long will it take to keep the project going forward? And is there any plan for a start date, or we just want, what are the logistics of getting
I
this
can
new
get you the
plan?
stop date on it, and if there's not enough money in the grant fund for water quality, we can go back and reapply for more.
If there isn't?
Yes.
Yes, and
We won't know exactly
We
until
won't
it goes
know.
out to
That's the
bid.
bid.
Do you happen to know when it's going out to bid?
No, but we can find out.
okay, you'll let us know when it'll be going out to bid?
Yeah, I'll let you know, and either like someone in your group or I'll tell Rick.
Yeah, so Bill is liaison to Highway now. My understanding is that it's fully funded, that it was a water quality project. It's similar to the one they did on Cobb and Watermill. Came out really nice there. I'm hoping it's even better for you guys.
Right.
Just keep in mind that it is a drainage project and not a coastal resiliency project.
Right.
So when we have these bad hurricanes, you're still going to get the flooding on the road. But I think in general, this plan's going to help tremendously on the end of Long Neck Boulevard.
Well, I think it's going to help the flooding because of the way they're going to grade it, and it has a lot of in the plan now that addresses that, and so that we're very pleased with that.
I think the last minute, with the trustees weighing in on it, I think made a big difference, the availability of that property there.
Right.
And the fact that between highway and trustees, they put together a final plan, I think was a big help.
Yes.
And it was great to
Kudos
get
to-
input from your community members.
Yes,
on
we-
the original plan. So
Yes.
look how it evolved, and everybody's.
And we're very happy that our concerns were so well addressed. And so is there any guesstimate of when it might actually start being construction?
We'll find out. I'll find out in the next week or so and let Rick know, and then he'll let you know.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Adrian. Justin Boudreau.
Good evening, board and councilwoman. I'm speaking this evening.
Oh,
I'm
could you
sorry.
just state your
Yes.
name?
My name's Justin Boudreau. I live in Flanders. I'm speaking this evening as not only a concerned resident, but a member of a longstanding, close-knit neighborhood in Flanders that is being disrupted by a construction project that appears to have disregard for our community standards, the environment, and the codes designed to protect it. At 2440 Pearson Road, a new home has been built. While aesthetically out of character with our neighborhood, raises far more serious issues than appearance. Throughout this construction, multiple complaints have been submitted regarding clear violations of building code, environmental regulations, and permitting procedures. Yet these complaints have been dismissed by the town of Southampton's code enforcement and building enforcement as unfounded. This property was occupied by a camper. The residents were living in it for a long period of time and now have visibly moved into the home without a CO. It appears adding concern. Foam boarding insulation that was attached to the home's exterior is blowing into yards, into private pools, damaging filtration systems, and even into protected wetlands. This is a nuisance to, my neighborhood where I live. It's an environmental hazard to date. Marty Shea has been the only one that takes meaningful action to address these issues. His responsiveness stands in stark contrast to the pattern of inaction by other departments. I have personally witnessed code enforcement building department vehicles at the property, remain in the driveway without exiting the vehicle and leaving all within a 3-minute period, later marking all of our complaints unfounded. Our community deserves better. We are expected and entitled to fair and equal enforcement of town codes, environmental protections, and building regulations. When violations are ignored, enforcement appears selective, it erodes public trust and invites further disregard for rules that keep our neighborhoods safe, sustainable, and harmonious. I urge the town officials and the public to take a closer look at this situation. And I just want to know if there's any other avenues that me and
What was that address
What
again?
was the address?
2440 Pearson Road, it was 2 parcels that were merged together as one property. And we just, as neighbors, really want to know what we can do about this. It's distressing to all of us. These people have alienated all of us in our neighborhood, and we just really need some, help. And I've exhausted everything that I can do. I literally probably have filed myself and one of our neighbors at least 12 complaints through the SOS website, and they've all gone unfounded. And I have timestamp video evidence of all of this, and we just want help.
Can you leave your number with,
Yeah.
with Kim over here, and someone will get back to you?
Yeah, absolutely.
2 days.
And I appreciate, you letting
Let's
us
make a few phone calls.
It's on the,
It's under construction
It's on
still
the
at this
It's
point?
still under construction, yes. Thank you. Oh, my information is on there.
Okay.
Thank you so much. I
Thank you.
appreciate it.
thank you for coming in and letting us know.
Thank you.
We'll look into it for sure. Kathy Cruel.
Good evening, Supervisor. Good evening, Town Board. I've been
State your
in-
name for the record.
Kathy Kroll.
Hi, Kathy.
Hi. First of all, 7-Eleven on the Circle. It's going to be a menace for us. We still have homeless and addicted people. Now they took over the bus stop because they broke out the windows. So when they do their laundry in the water behind McDonald's, they can hang their clothes over it. So that's hanging there a lot. And it's going to it did bring into Flanders when they put the 7-Eleven in. We had a lot of problems with people sleeping on the roadside behind it with the trees. I actually went and spoke to the owner, and I went through code, and they ended up removing all the bushes so nobody could sleep back there anymore. They ended up cleaning the rat problem because they had a rat problem from the people with food sleeping behind the 7-Eleven. So on the Circle, where we still have so many problems, a gas station and a 7-Eleven will add 5 more police officers needed in Flanders. The second is 675 Flanders Road. On the corner of Glider Avenue and Flanders Road, they allowed them to put stores in, separate stores, behind a building that was there. First of all, they put an awning out, and now they put parking spaces that go right up against the roadside. Glider Avenue, to begin with, is only a one-car road because it's so narrow. Now you have cars parking over here, they park facing the wrong way, they do whatever they want.
It's very narrow there. It is very narrow.
Yes, and now they have cars parked along the whole side of, what they told us when they were building it was, we cleaned the whole parking lot in the back, there'll be nobody parking here, and then they put parking spaces there. I also spoke to code enforcement. They told me from what they can see, they do not have a CO to be open yet. So surprise to me when I drove by and there's those big wavy signs going in a circle saying that they sell cannabis and CBD, and they're getting their liquor license and will be selling alcohol soon. And someone called me today in a frantic state because they went in there and they're selling knives, all different knives. Now, I don't know if there's an age that you have to be to buy these. I don't even think they have a CO to be open yet. But all of a sudden, now here's the business. Here's a deli. Here's the community center, the senior center with youth bureau in it. Next to it is a church. Can they build these things that close? And did they just open on their own and hope nobody noticed? They went there and the signs were moved from facing the building, the right side. They moved them across the street on town property on Glider Avenue.
30 seconds.
So I'm hoping that someone can help me. I know that phone calls were made earlier today to the building department because they looked up the paperwork and said that they did not find a CO, that they're not supposed to be open yet. And I did make a phone call today to the police, and I'm going to talk to them about the cars parking facing the wrong way and out too close to the road. People walk to the deli from Glider Avenue. There's no place for them to walk now because there's a car parked at the edge of the road. So I'm hoping we can get some help because
3 minutes.
because we really need it over there. This is selling knives.
Well, we could follow up with the chief building inspector to make sure that, he looks into what's happening. Is that something you'd want?
So I was on this all morning, so we are working on it, working with code and the building department as well as the idea that maybe we make no parking on that road. So we are working on it. I can't really give you any details, maybe
No,
later
that's
on,
fine.
but yeah, we are.
Oh,
Okay.
good.
Code enforcement did also bring in the building department on it as well.
Yes,
Yeah.
he sent them a email while I was on the phone with him. But I mean, selling knives?
Yeah, no, I mean, it will, if
And-
like, we'll contact with it, we'll speak with our town attorneys, and if we need to elevate this to PD, we will, I mean, it's.
Yeah, I
It's a
tried to
hell of-
call today, but I didn't get a phone call back.
The sign outside is beer and gifts, so if the knives are hell of a great gift,
Well, their sign that was by the road said
24.
cannabis and a thing that swirled, and the other one said CBDs and it swirled.
I didn't see those, but
They moved them. Now they were over there today.
Have those.
So
Well, they can't be selling cannabis.
they are. That's what it said. That's
They
the
can't
sign.
have the signs either, so that's
Sign
another,
was
that's
out
another
there.
violation.
Well, that's how I started with code. Well, isn't the sign illegal? And
Yeah.
he said, yes. I said, can we start there? And he said they sent the fire marshal there to take care of it, and they weren't open yet. So, but someone else called me and said, they have knives, every knife you can imagine, they're selling from there. So I may take a walk in there tomorrow. Thank you.
Just don't buy any knives.
Yeah. Maybe one last
Hmm.
week.
Well, I'm glad you're on, Rick.
working on it.
Thank you. Okay. Barbara Swislowski.
Babs.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Barbara Swislowski. I'm from Flanders, and I am the chairperson for the Northampton Riverside Flanders CAC. I'd like to talk to you about the 7-Eleven. I know it's going back in front of the ZBA, I guess it is, on Thursday. And I know amended plans were approved by the planning board, and I know you guys approved it. But
Well,
did,
We didn't
We
approve
didn't
it.
approve it.
I
We
thought
don't
you had
get that.
approved
It
it.
just
Okay.
went to the planning
did
board.
anybody actually take a look at any of the emails or notes and messages that were left from before your term regarding this 7-Eleven and before it was even built?
Well, I know that the
Everybody
planning
emailed and
board's had
called.
it in front of them for a long time and that they went back and forth with a lot of, reducing the number of pumps and different things.
Yeah,
that-
I know, they reduced
Review.
it. Okay, but they're putting up a 7-Eleven within 2.5 miles. There's going to be 3. I mean, we already have the one in Flanders, which we finally got rid of the drunk sleeping behind the bushes, and then the one on Main Street, and they both have cameras set up for some reason. I don't know, maybe they have a problem with theft or vagrant, I don't know what, vagrancy, any of it. But anyway, I do agree something other than that lovely building that's there needs to be put there. But a convenience store almost 3 times the size of my house is like kind of large. I'm sorry. And the traffic, I mean, I understand it's to be right turns only, going in and going out. But
We don't know.
They
Did
don't
you-
need, they don't need any town board approvals.
Did you go to the planning board when?
No, it was closed.
Expressed your,
The meeting was
oh,
closed.
before
Yeah.
they gave
Yeah.
their
So,
opinions? No.
but from what I understand, it's right turn only going in, right turn only going out. But everybody's going to try and make a left to go back out onto Flanders Road or to go back out onto Riverly Avenue, County Road 104, which is going to be a problem unless you extend that center island off the traffic circle.
I believe it's still pending before the planning board. I don't think they've got final approval from the
Okay.
planning board. As of
Good.
yet, so they're still.
Good, because it's going to be a serious safety
So-
issue.
You should direct your comments to the planning
I
board so
will.
that they
I will.
receive that.
Also,
Zoning board,
yeah,
if they're on this week, the ZBA, you say?
Thursday.
Okay.
Yes. As far as the 40 affordable units, I understand it's been tabled, and we're going to be speaking with Kara, I guess, from CHF, Community Housing Fund. Yes? Okay. On a different note, I'd like to thank Councilperson McNamara for her time and efforts with our CAC, and Councilman Martell for his help with the Friends of the Big Duck. He knows what I'm talking about. You all approved the grant, so thank you. I would also like to thank you all for approving the work for the fish ladder on Dam Trail. That's a plus. Thank you. Have a nice
Good idea
evening.
from your neighbor.
I'm sorry?
Was a good idea what someone in your neighborhood gave you.
Funny how things like that happen when you're married to a marine biologist.
Well, thank you, Barbara.
So Barbara, if there's any chance you can make that meeting not the same night as Watermill CAC, Michael and I are liaisons to the Community Housing Fund. We'd love to be there.
Well, that's the only night the Flanders Fire Department is available.
Really?
really didn't want to have to get into the town with the community center.
Okay. What's the date? Yeah. What's the date? Next meeting is what?
So I'm going to speak out of turn, Carmen Casper again. I met with the head of the Watermill CAC today. We would like to have a joint meeting, work session with you, specific on the traffic for both of the hamlets. So we are trying to coordinate with the other CACs to lessen the burden on the board of having to individually meet with us. So we would really like to have a combined meeting with the Watermill CAC specific to traffic. And Rachel and I had that chat today. So we really are trying to coordinate with the other CACs for your time.
In November.
Yeah, we can do that. I mean, I don't know, geographically.
Might be able to just make that a Zoom
situation.
meeting.
Michael, what do you think? I mean,
It's not.
the issues on 24 are
Different.
drastically different from the Watermill corridor.
We're both in the situation where we're trying to solve very, very frozen traffic circles for us, and they are being asked to consider one. We have a lot of concerns, both CACs, about the traffic circles in particular, and it really needs to be looked at for both hamlets. So we would be happy to meet here for work session, and I'm sure they would too, because we just feel that these traffic circles are not sufficient to the need, and when there's continued growth, it's going to get worse. So
there
we
is
don't
some-
have solutions
yeah.
yet, but we want to meet as both hamlets to talk to you specifically about traffic circles.
So
And
there is consideration in Hampton Bays for a couple of traffic circles too. It's not just your area.
great,
Watermill,
let's have them
and
come
so on.
too.
And I think Michael has already petitioned the state to look into roundabouts in Watermill. You know, we're waiting for that study to come out.
And this doesn't need to be done right away, but we're just trying to coordinate with the other CACs for your behalf.
Makes sense. I mean, you have a circle, they don't want a circle, or they want to know what a circle does. And as somebody who waits on that circle
Yeah,
several
we're
times
all,
a week.
unfortunately, ours is in a situation where it's frozen when the light in Riverhead
Yeah.
is red.
So it's great that you've all established a CAC, and I think through that channel, you should work with your liaisons to coordinate. And I'm happy to try to get our engineer, to try to get our highway department to come out to talk to the members of the community. I mean, that's the whole role and function of a CAC. Because a CAC is not a civic group that's private. You are a part of the town. So
Agreed.
your role is to collaborate with the town board. So your liaisons are your avenue to finding folks like Charlie, our highway department, the supervisor, to come and meet with all of you, and we'd be happy to set something up.
However you want to do it, all CACs meeting to get to solutions.
happy to
is
work
what
with Rick and
Yeah, we
Rachel
just
and-
want to get to solutions because we continue as a town to talk about development and growth, but there's a physical limitation right now with these circles. And some kind of solutions need to be brought up, and usually the communities can come up with pretty good ideas. So we're just throwing it out there saying we want to collaborate however we can with the other CACs, because this is a big issue for people even getting to work on time.
Be happy to try it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Lucas Bomalis?
Then you can make, Rick, then you can make both meetings.
Hi everyone, I'm Lucas Bomilas. I'm here to speak about the 1100 meters path rezoning. First though, I'd like to ask, is the North Sea CAC, is that still working? Is that still a thing? Is it possible for me to get in contact with them somehow? Just because of this issue, I tried going to a meeting and I'm not sure if it was a broken Zoom link or something, but it just wasn't possible.
Sure, it
They're
should
having
be. Oh, go ahead, Bill.
They're having a meeting in September. The one in August was canceled.
Okay, sure. So now regarding the 1100 Majors Path issue, or I guess I see it that way, it's up to your interpretation. I'd just like to advocate why I'm against it. I live on 127th Straight Path, so that's less than 1,000 feet from where this would be constructed. I acknowledge the property owner's rights to, of course, develop that land, but I just don't want it to be rezoned. And I'm against it, I guess, for three main reasons. I'm sure there's others that other residents will reach out to you for. But I guess I'll just go straight into it. First is density burden. I think North Sea is more dense than I guess a lot of people are willing to acknowledge. For the longest time, it's been sort of a topic of let's get some more construction out east past the canal. I think that's sort of being placed now in North Sea somehow, this issue. Meanwhile, looking at things like what percentage of North Sea is occupied year-round, it's actually towards the most occupied out east. Looking at something like simply residents per square mile, just of these few hamlets and regions I have listed, North Sea is actually one of the most dense areas per square mile. There's traffic issues on Noyak, there's traffic issues even on Mary's Lane. So that's one reason I'm against this development. Second is ecological burden. I appreciate Mariner Housing's sort of spoken commitment to not developing all of the land. I believe there's a petition now, I just got it in the mail today, that people are against development for aquifer reasons, but I'll just put it plainly, North Sea has a wooded character, and I'm sort of worried that if it's apartments being developed as opposed to single-family housing or something of that nature, well, that definitely changes the character of the neighborhood, and ecologically speaking, I mean, I'm all for more trees as opposed to less trees. And third is just sort of housing precedent. I would really appreciate it if North Sea remains sort of a single-family housing type of area. I think that it sort of would result in more commitment of residents to be committed towards long-term health of their community if they were buying homes. Obviously, we can't all do that. I mean, I'm young. I don't know when I'm going to buy a home, but for the time being, I'm sort of still on that side of people buying homes because they're going to be part of that community. Whereas, of course, people should be entitled to affordable housing, but
30 seconds.
I just think that for my community, what I'd really like to see is just long-term commitment. Thank you for listening. That's all.
Thank you, Lucas.
Thank you.
Carol McNeil.
Hey, Carol.
Hi, I'm Carol McNeil, and I just wanted to come before you instead of sending you all emails or calling you, and just thank you again for everything you're doing concerning Westwood's property. I appreciate all the time, the resources, the money that you're doing, and I ask that you continue it in lieu of things that have been occurring with the nation and the media that is saying things that just aren't true all the time. That it really disturbs me, makes me feel very uneasy. That there's something else going on. And I really just want to encourage you to keep at it, to find the truth. And statements like, well, you know, eventually they can just do whatever they want if they get it. No, that's not true. Everything I read on the law, I've read and become pretty good on Indian law and learning things around the nation and the cases, that I realize that the federal government actually has a great deal of input. And the recent purchase of land has oversight by the U.S. government. And that actually shouldn't have been able to happen. And declaring war is actually against the federal government. You know, there's all kinds of things that are stated, and it doesn't come out. People are thinking, oh, well, just let them do what they want. Oh, it's just a gas station. Well, it's not. It's not just a gas station. It's a change in entire community, because once that's gone in, it's a convention center. It's a casino, 5, 6, 7 stories high. It's an overpass over Sunrise Highway. It's a direct impact that is so negative for the entire East End, not only for traffic, but for the quality of life for so many people. And I think that needs to come out more, that people are truly aware of what is occurring and can occur as a result of what happens with this property. I know I'm directly affected, but there are a lot of people who really still aren't aware of the facts on this. And I wish that information was given out more accurately every time there's something that's coming up. And I know some of us might be wavering because of the recent land grab by the Shinnecock. That's very disturbing. It just makes me really afraid that there's something else going on. And, in this day and age of trusting the government, trusting the media, trusting what you see on the internet, social media, it's become very disturbing that we don't even want to trust anything. And that's what's happening to me. And I become very afraid, not only for me in this community, but for the future. I think we need to get back to integrity, kindness, concern for your neighbors, which I have not felt at all that there's been any exhibited by the nation, any concern for us. And maybe they feel that way towards them. But I think there has to be better ways of addressing it. But I thank you, and I want to encourage you to still keep at it, and that there are people who are behind you, okay? Thank you.
Thank you.
Lorraine. Carol. Lorraine Pacelio.
Good evening, everybody. Lorraine Pacelio, 23 Nash Avenue in Flanders. There's two things mostly. I know I wrote down three, but I cut one out. Save you guys.
Speak about whatever you want.
The 40-unit housing proposal on a 1-acre lot. First of all, we don't need any affordable housing west of the canal. We need it east of the canal. We need open space in our area. This is what the taxpayers approved over 25 years ago, and we need the town to uphold and to use that money to preserve all the space we have, every little corner. Has anybody ever driven past this property during rush hour to see what kind of increase in traffic that it would cause? Even at 11 a.m., there is traffic backed up from that circle down Route 24. Has anybody contacted the Riverhead School District to determine how many children they can absorb? I hear the Riverhead schools are already overcrowded. What is the cost to the hamlets of Flanders, Riverside, and Northampton as additional school taxes? We already pay the highest school taxes in the town of Southampton. And how many parking spaces are these 40 units going to require? Is the town still considering adding the 4,000 rental units pursuant to the Riverside Rediscovered project? Don't you think we have enough traffic along this corridor and at this dysfunctional circle? And just how will the citizens' quality of life be improved by such a high-density housing project? I hope that all these things are considered when looking at this project. Also, I heard that the Riverhead buildings, downtown Riverhead, all those new buildings they put up, that's supposed to be all affordable housing. I hear a lot of it's Section 8. So be careful what you ask for, because $2,700 for an apartment in this area doesn't sound like affordable housing to me. And also, are there any such projects with 40 units on 1-acre lots east of the canal? That's what should come first. We do not need affordable housing west of the canal. We're only areas that have affordable housing, and we don't need more. As far as the 7-Eleven proposal on the Riverside Circle, that quote of the week that's in the Southampton Press, per the chair of the town planning board, it's not something to be proud of. It says something like, we would love to see this property developed. Yeah, we would like to see it developed also. But this abandoned gas station has blighted the area for over 2 decades. And now when the town is allegedly finally close to having some type of blight code to help find these property owners who have taken advantage of deteriorating and extremely poor area, now stand to profit. And again, it's at the expense of the neighborhood. Quote this Southampton Press: "We the people do not want or need another 7-Eleven or a gas station in our hamlets. There are already 2 7-Elevens within a 2-mile radius, and this one would make it the third. And though there are already 5 gas stations along the Route 24 Flanders Road corridor, and we don't need a 6th. My vision around this circle is not gas station, 7-Eleven, large apartment housing building. What we need is either a supermarket for residents to purchase groceries, or a green market selling produce, or preservation of the space to be cultivated as a garden so all who pass know they are entering the Hamptons." Now, I understand that the 7-Eleven gas station is on the Thursday's planning committee. Are we allowed to voice our opposition to this at their meeting?
Is it a work session, Jen?
No. It's
Is
a
it
planning hearing.
planning board or zoning board?
Public hearing.
If it's a public hearing, you absolutely can, you should be there.
It says, you know, on the announcement, it says it's a public hearing. And then in parentheses, it says, but we will not be able to get any comments from the public. Take a look at it. It's
Yeah, we'll take it.
distributed to everybody.
Yeah, I can check it out. I mean, I can give you a call tomorrow or something.
Okay, that'd be great, because I don't understand how it's a open meeting, and I think that's where we voice our complaints, not to you, right? They planning committee, they're the ones that
Before
bring it
them,
to you,
correct.
or
Before the
whatever.
two boards, my understanding is that before the planning board, and then I think there's possibly before the zoning board for some variances as well. So.
Right. Well, it says that we're not allowed to speak, but I plan on being there, so I'd like to know if I could speak or not. Because if we don't speak there, then where do we speak? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Joanne Long Merrill.
Good evening, Supervisor and the board. My name is Joanne Long Merrill. I live at 42 Oaks Avenue. My family has resided there since 1959. I would like to thank the town board, including its former councilperson and current assemblyman, Tommy John, for helping us with our flooding problem, as well as Rick, who's been down there as well. We have been recently, with Lorraine as our president, got the trustees down to view our puddle, which is a flood zone. I went through it one time with my Prius and was scared I was going to stall right in the middle of it. And that's just trying to get to the beach. But I'm asking the current board to continue helping us with this problem. I know we have construction that we will hear from Mr. Pell as to when the estimates will go out, because we won't know anything until those estimates are out and about and what the schedule is. We recently had this meeting, and I also am asking that we continue. When I was a child, many years ago, we had a jetty that was on the canal side, west side of the Royal Avenue Canal. And that jetty seemed to have just disintegrated. And it was not a large jetty, okay, by any means.
That jetty was privately owned and it was made out of wood.
No, it was rocks, because we all would stand on it and we would swim off it. So it was all
Must be thinking
rocks.
the next one over.
Yeah, by us, by Bayview Pines, okay? So it was Bayview Pines right off that property line of the person who has a home there. So we had that jetty there, which could help us supporting the erosion of our beach, my thinking. I'm not, an environmental engineer of any means. But also, if we could take spoils from other town jobs, which I know we have to go through the trustees, but also the town board has to approve of them, to put those spoils of other sand beach projects onto our beach, especially on the eastern end of our beach, which is disintegrating as well. One of the problems we've had is losing the beach, if you've walked down there. I know Tommy John did with me. But also on Goose Creek Island, I've asked the trustees this. I've asked this for probably 10 years, maybe more. If we can get sand onto Goose Creek Island, which is right in Goose Creek, we can take the spoils and build that up again, because I have photos of it. I think, Rick, I gave you photos of that, where it's totally gone. We get flooding down Pine and Oaks Avenue that we've lost 3 cars already down Oaks Avenue because of the instant flooding, and you can't get your cars out of there quick enough. So there are things that can be done within the realm of the town board, and perhaps, hopefully, helping the trustees see our way to put the sand onto these areas. We need your continued support. And as far as anything else goes, I didn't hear my time's up yet. I'm also asking
30 seconds.
Okay, good. So this will help mitigate that flooding issue. The one other thing I wanted to support is the Riverside area the beautification project 25 years ago. We wanted open space where that 7-Eleven is proposed. We talked about it when I was president of the Bayview Pines. We had a board meeting about it. We talked about it. We didn't want it. We don't want it. It's, as Lorraine said, this is the entrance to the Hamptons? Gas stations? Really? We can do better than that, Southampton. I hope you do. Thank you.
Lorraine, I did check. It's the on for their work session, so it says that the meeting is public, but it's not open for public comment. I don't know when they have. You can contact
Kristen Doherty,
Kay Doherty, and she can let you know if it's on for another public. Or you can email. I'll look into it for you, and I'll find out between the ZBA and the planning board when you can have some input. I'll let you know. We don't get input on it, no.
It's a separate board.
It's a land
No,
use.
because it's
land
not, it's zoned for that, and so we don't have to, there's no action that this board would have to take.
Right, it says it right. As far as it complies with the zoning, so it's only a planning board and zoning board.
But what about the beautification project 25 years ago that the board approved? Why is that not still in the sights of Southampton?
Well, we did, just so you know, Joanne, we did offer to purchase the property with community preservation funds, but you need a willing seller, and the seller, and the owner in this instance wanted to develop the property.
Yeah, but if you don't give them the
You have to
variances,
talk,
then you have a little bit more pull.
Well,
Wouldn't be the first owner that we've had that situation with, that the CPF managed to persuade the same.
You can ask Jim, the town attorney. Every
I
week.
think he's wonderful.
Every week.
So there, Bill.
There you go, Jim.
Every week I say to him, let's buy that, call the owner up, we want to buy that. We want to buy that.
Make him an offer he can't refuse, you know?
Tell them they cannot build the 7-Eleven, and he doesn't want to sit there with it forever.
Can't do
And
that.
we're never gonna allow that, the community is gonna be there to fight it every step of the way. I got chains, let's look at themselves.
oh my goodness, all right. Rick Lofsted, please, come on up.
Thank you so much. Hi, good morning, good afternoon, board. I've been working, I guess, all day. I'm Rick Lofsted. I'm here, just one quick question. I own fishing boats, and one of them here is tied up in at the town pier in Hampton Bays. I used to live here most of my life. I now reside in Saratoga. I have 2 young kids up there. But I'd like to fish out of here. My mother lives here. My twins live here. My grandchildren live here. Cousins, brothers, uncles, all live here. So, but the regulations of the town have that you have to be a resident in order to be at the dock. I've been working with Daryl and Liz George with the town Parks Department. They've been wonderful. They have got me permission to do on what they call transient. It's the first time anybody's gotten a transient slip, so I got a transient slip. I'm paying $1 a foot a day, which is $55 a day. But I'm asking for relief or some way that that I can tie my boat up as a full-time fisherman. There are 3 dock slips that you have available. So I'm looking to see if I can fulfill one of them with that one boat I have here. And so I've asked, my corporation owns the boat. If my corporation rented a storefront or rented a house or apartment, if that would be acceptable. And Daryl wrote back, he said, I looked into residency requirements. In order to validate, you would need a tax bill indicating land of lease of one of the corporation owners, and same also need to own 30% or more of that corporation. So I don't know if that's the same regulations you would have for a dock slip at Conscious Point or just to get a town beach permit.
There's a different situation there because it was a county dock and we took it from the county, and when we did take it over, there were stipulations about residency in that agreement. So I know that Daryl and Liz have been working with you, and they're trying to find a way for to help you in any way they can. It's not like they're trying to.
No, they've been excellent. Yeah.
So I mean, I would just keep on with that avenue, but they are restricted based on the agreements we had with the county when we took over that dock.
Okay, well, that's the, if it's,
I mean, I'm happy to,
yeah,
outside of this, speak with Jim and we can take a look at it and see if there's any flexibility there and if there's anything we can do to help you out, we will.
Because we have to be very careful how we do it, because you don't want to turn that dock into like the Greenport dock and have a bunch of Southern scallop boats up here.
Yeah.
You want to keep it for the local fishermen.
so I'm trying to, skin a fish, as they say. Anyway, you can figure it out. If my corporation owned, leased the property here, I could do it. But if there's any way you guys can figure out how to help me with that, I'd appreciate it.
So there really should be something about a legacy, because his family has been, I mean, I've known Rick for 55 years, and he was my catcher in high school, so I haven't seen him in 30, but,
That was his own.
But to be honest, I mean, his family has provided a service to our community in the fishing industry. They've taken care of docks. They've contributed to our community, and I believe we still have plenty of family in the business. So there should be something of a family legacy exception if we could do it.
It's just we're within the confines of that agreement, which I'm happy to have Jim look at.
Certainly, even with legacy, it's good to say, oh, you have legacy, but it comes down to you have to live in the county or the town.
I used to, I started a Shinnecock Fishermen's Cooperative here, and Billy used to have a dock here, but the facilities in Shinnecock have really gotten less and less, so it's very difficult. There's no ice, there's no fuel, there's no welders, mechanics, and we're all in our late 60s, so it makes it more.
I'm happy to look into it with Jim and get back to you and let you know if there's anything we can find out.
Thanks.
Okay, Kevin, is anyone on Zoom for public portion?
No one on Zoom.
What did you say? Okay, thank you. All right, well then, if there's no other comments, I move to close public portion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Bye, everyone. Okay, let's move forward with our resolutions. Do you want, where's the,
We'll take
where's that resolution for the park?
for the Parks District.
Yeah. Put you out of your misery.
It is on page 26.
All right. I move to take Town Board Resolution 2020, nope, that's not it. 26?
2025-1019, page
okay.
26.
Oh, there it is. Town Board Resolution 2025-1019 out of order.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Town Board Resolution 1019 of 2025, co-sponsored by Supervisor Moore and Councilman Martell, establish park district known as the East Quogue Park District.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Congratulations.
Just like that.
Brian started this in 2017. Thank you, Brian.
Oh, good. Well, you all worked hard for this. It's going to be great. Thank you. Okay, let's go back to page 3.
All right. Town Board Resolution 2025-970, co-sponsored with Council Members Martell and McNamara, authorize the use of community housing funds for the development of 12 affordable housing apartment units at the Preserve at South Country in Queog.
Second.
On the motion, I would just like to call it to the board's attention that there's some need for an extension on the approval, and I think it makes sense to do the procedurally what needs to be done before approving funding for the project. We only just found out about over the weekend that the approval needed to be extended, and our land management administrator is on vacation this week, and there are some other questions that I had for her that I was hoping to have answered before we move forward.
For myself, I do not support this. I am for affordable housing, and I'm also for affordable workforce housing. But for this, you have to have the project has to fit the area, has to fit the property, has to fit the neighborhood. The architect has to fit the area. You have to check all the boxes. Is it close to transportation? Is it close to stores? And I don't think all these boxes have to be, they were checked. The prior board did this. And I don't want to be like the prior board and rush this without making sure this is all done. They had a great opportunity to put extension here. They already had 2 extensions. Jim's, how many extensions are they allowed to have?
Well, with the planning board, they
They're-
have 2 extensions.
2.
And the town board, under 33023B, they're allowed to request 2 6-month extensions.
And now it ran out a few months ago.
Well,
In
yeah,
May.
I'm not aware that they made any applications for any extensions.
Yeah,
Right, and
so-
we just got the letter yesterday.
just
I mean,
requesting
just now,
the
I mean,
extension.
We got the letter yesterday. This was already put on last week, okay? So someone made a call to them to, hey, you have to have a letter. So it's like postmarked. So are we gonna go to the building department when my building department permit runs up and I put an extension on, but I forget to do it the next time? They should go back and start from the beginning to make sure this is done correctly. Because if we make a mistake on this project, it's going to really put a dent, a black cloud on any affordable and workforce houses we do. So you want to take the time. We don't want to rush. We already rushed. The prior board rushed the Bel Air. They rushed other projects, and all we did was have headaches from it. We don't want to have a headache by doing this. So either table this and just wait, or let them start from the beginning and do it all over again. I'm not against hand it from the beginning and have an opportunity to have the schools weigh in. The school's suing this now. The fire department should weigh in. The neighborhood should weigh in. I mean, I think it's the wrong place for this amount of units, And so that's why I'm not for this at all. And I don't have my support on this at all.
Can I speak?
You go ahead. I'm done.
I respect your opinion. As a member of the former board, I want to say that this was not rushed. This application took them from elect to consider to the approval, took them 2 years and 7 months that it was before the town board. It was weighed heavily. They have the zone change. They have received planning board approvals or site plan approval. I do plan on putting forward an extension at the next meeting. I have checked with our town attorney, and there's nothing preventing us from awarding this funding this evening. I want to thank the Suffolk County Legislature. We did send a letter to the Suffolk County Legislature asking them for funding, for county funding for this project. The Suffolk County Legislature, on an 18-0 vote, approved the funding for this project. I want to say thank you to County Executive Ed Romaine, who signed off on that funding and also approved it. And those approvals are contingent on, this funding from this board. And I believe, making it sound like doing this, like there's an out to redoing the whole project, that ship has sailed. We gave them the zoning change. They have the zoning change. The extension is basically administerial at this point. We would have to go through an entire process to peel it back, and we would be sued. I mean, it's approved. It was over almost a 3-year process to get it approved. I was part of that approval. The town board approved it unanimously. We know the need for affordable housing. We are now basically coming due on our side of the funding that we requested from the county that they came through on. And again, I want to thank the legislature and County Executive Romaine for funding this project. They believe it's a good project worthy of funding. And I would like to move forward this evening. They are under a time crunch for tax credits. And we did table this at the last meeting, and had we not tabled this at the last meeting, we would have voted on this without anybody knowing about the extension. So, here nor there, and then Supervisor, I understand, you not feeling comfortable with it. I totally respect that, but I would like to move forward with this.
Since it just came to light.
Yes.
That the approval has expired, I don't know how we can approve funding a project for which the approval expired. And that's why I thought that we should wait till the next meeting to do this. And it would still give the applicant time to submit their application to the state for the state credits. And then when this came up about the extension, it raised another question about whether, there's just some other questions. It's not within a mile of the downtown, and Janice mentioned that she thought there had been a waiver, but I was looking and I didn't see anything to that effect, and I just wanted to ask her, was there actually a public hearing and a resolution on the waiver? Because if there wasn't, that's a problem, and if there was, great, but nobody can answer that until she gets back. I did ask one of the deputy town attorneys, and she didn't locate anything, but that doesn't mean it isn't there. So for those reasons, I just think that this shouldn't go forward tonight. But we had a motion and a second. I don't know if you have any comments, Michael?
I have one more question. And also, I read somewhere where the county's money was subject to our money and our money was subject to the county money. And it was like, who was going to do it
Who's
first?
on first?
Oh, that's true. It is in the resolution.
County
and that's a
resolution, I
little
believe,
awkward.
does say that. I think the county resolution does say that it's subject to town approval as well.
See, we can't, us giving the money is subject to the county funding.
Yeah,
And the
so-
county funding, it is subject to
So
us.
we can't really do it unless they do it. So that could be
they've done it.
straightened out
Written a
too.
little awkwardly.
Yeah.
They've approved it. I
He
mean,
signed
that's clear. They have approved.
Well, the county's approval was subject to the town.
Right. And as far as,
Towns is subject to the county.
Ours is on funding commitments which they've made, which the county executive signed.
A commitment subject to the town. Oh, I think the wording's a little odd.
Did you want to say something? And I'll
Yeah,
chime in?
going back, keep in mind that this isn't about financing the whole project. The idea here is there are, I think, around 16 units that are already affordable. We're contributing the money so that we can keep 12 more affordable in perpetuity, which, guarantees that if this is sold and so down the road, we would always have about 28 units that would say in our affordable inventory for a community housing fund. You can, and I think the county has signed off on their end of the funding. This is just the last piece of the funding, and it would be contingent on us granting the extension.
I mean, if they don't get the funding from us, they're stuck. Are we going to stop the building?
No, they're still
No,
going to
they
go ahead
find
with
it
the
somewhere else.
project. This is just,
So we can take our money and put it in a better project.
Well, we're losing 12 spots, and it comes out to about 200,000 a apartment, which you can't do in a lot of other parts of town.
although they do have to preserve it for 50 years, keep it affordable. It's 50 years under the state. Michael, did you want to say something?
Yeah, it is 23.03 acres. It's a big property. And
It's 78 units on that many acres versus 40 on one.
17 acres buildable, the rest is
Versus
preserved.
40 units on one.
Well, and I think that's a good thing because that means you're going to have buffers, you're going to have setbacks, and whenever we look at projects as a board, I think we look at those things. Is there going to be land set aside for buffers and landscaping that will form into the character of the community? As Rick had mentioned, the additional 12 units, I think, is an important community benefit for it being affordable in perpetuity. That means 28 of the 78 units now are going to be affordable in perpetuity. I think that that's a great community benefit. This took a long time with this board, primarily because of the question on the allocation of CHF funds, which, Maria, I credit you. I mean, I think, your due diligence is actually what yielded those additional community benefits. Because it's not just the additional units of affordability and perpetuity, it's also the fact that if any of the units reverts back to market rate, they pay into the CHF, which I think is a great community benefit. It means if the project goes wrong, some of the units don't they're not affordable, they don't live up to their promise, we're paid back. I think that's an important thing to take a look at, and I think it's a good faith move on behalf of the applicant that they understand our position. They saw that we stood our ground. Look, I agree with Bill, my colleague Councilman Pell, the great Councilman Pell, on the fact that
I'm still gonna vote no.
the fact that the previous board, in my opinion, had may have taken this project for granted a little bit. I will say I'm aware that my former colleague John Bouvier did do a lot of work with Councilwoman McNamara and Rick and Tommy John on the board to take this project from what was, I think, 114 units down to the 78 units, if I'm correct about that. So it has been whittled down significantly. And I am conscientious of the environment, but at the same time, there is such a great need for housing. And while I'm not fully comfortable with this, I am optimistic of the various contingencies put in place, the additional community benefits, which I think are important and shouldn't be overlooked.
I mean, just for the record, just because somebody asks for 140 or 200 or 1,000 doesn't mean that they're entitled to it and that we get credit for taking it down to the number that you're allowed to have. And as far as I heard from Janice Shear, they were allowed to have what they got by code, so just to correct, in my opinion, what you said.
And that property has a lot of problems. There's wetlands and, you just can't neutralize a property and put units on it. 80 units, 79 units, it's, if they started off with, okay, let's do 40 or 30, then if it works out, then they add another 30 on later.
But this is really
I think
just
we're
through
conflicting
the
the fact that,
funding, right?
yeah,
It's already
this is
been-
for funding, it's already been.
Yeah, because as for the land itself, the planning board did issue a site plan approval
they did.
of this. And that's another reason why I would hesitate here on the allocation of CHF funding, because it puts into question all of that. And I will say too, I mean, just in terms of the general, aesthetic of the renderings that the applicant has sent to us, I mean, it's not horrible. I think these,
That's a ringing endorsement.
No, I really believe that they look like they're in the character of the community. They look very nice. They're set back. It has a Hamptons look to it. I know that's a big concern for a lot of our, constituents. They want to see that we're.
And I think as we just had a work session on how do we make this process, quicker and easier to get these affordable housing units built. I mean, here we have a project. I mean, it literally took this applicant 2 years and 7 months to get from the elect to consider to a zoning change. And that's a huge amount of time and money and effort that was put into that. And, I don't like the thought that the previous town board rushed this. If anything, it took way longer than it probably should have. We went into the environmental aspects of the property. We looked at, the impacts on the community. we did our due diligence and we did it well, I believe, and
It
we
was
came
also
up
during
with.
the pandemic, so that slowed
So that's
things
how it
down.
started. I mean, it started, I think the elect to consider was prior to my getting on the board. So I was walking into an elect to consider at 114, and we did actually peel off part of the property to give the neighbors that were concerned a buffer that would remain wooded and preserved. And we also, and that's how we pretty much reduced the yield. So, you know, it wasn't a false number. They did, if they used the whole property and the entire acreage for development, they could have gotten to the 114, so.
I think too, they have sewage treatment, which we had actually offered, I believe, to the
Laundromat.
yeah, to the park and to the laundromat next door to be able to hook into it. They kept it amongst.
I mean, this is an area that's in need of some revitalization itself. I mean, you have the new car clubs coming in right across the street. I think they're putting in.
This is going to revitalize.
I think this is going to bring people in, and you know, it's across from Chesterfield and a auto salvage yard. I mean, it's not like it's, you know, it's an area that we thought was, appropriate, and the units are appropriate. The housing is going to be well done, and this will help towards that.
I take great offense on you say just because you got an industrial yard, a junk yard, that you can, you should be able to do affordable housing, workforce housing. You're saying you have to put it next to a junk yard.
No, I'm not saying
yes,
that. Bill.
Yes, you are.
No, I'm not.
You just said it fits the neighborhood.
I didn't
okay?
say that. I said it will
You said
revitalize
fits
the
the
neighborhood. I said it will revitalize.
I did not
the
interrupt you. Please don't let me
Well,
finish.
don't put words in my mouth, and I won't
I'm
interrupt
not.
you.
I'm just repeating what you said. Then why don't you do it in Sag Harbor? Okay? Do it out east,
Would love to.
okay? You don't, yeah.
Well, but just my original point was that since their approval expired, I think it's out of order to approve funding for a project that's
Do we have a
until
legal
it's-
opinion on that?
Yes, well, yeah, and it's a quirk in the code, obviously, that provision of the code, it talks about expiration, but then it talks about reversion of the zoning. So the zoning is still in place. At this moment, the zoning is still in place.
but the applicant's approval has expired. So then,
We're putting it on for the next meeting.
and can you
Then wait.
extend an approval that's
Totally up to the
been
board.
already expired, or does it have to come to us before it expires to say, hey, we're gonna expire, so can you extend it? I mean, I suppose you can revert back and extend something that's been expired.
From, like I said, the section of the code is kind of, quirky, but the zoning is obviously, clearly, the zoning is still in place. So that's the question. So
Like I said, nobody would know it expired if I didn't bring it to everyone's attention.
this board has to revert the zoning. They have to, actually, if they want to revert the zoning back to the current, to the prior zoning, you have to have a public
The zoning
hearing.
is what it was based on the vote.
Zoning
that
right now
took
is
place,
MFPRD,
which is
which is what the board, with the prior board and I guess some of
with the zone change.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
But the applicant, well, I'm not gonna keep saying it, anyway, let's just
All right.
take a vote. There's a motion and a second.
I'll make a motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
No,
Any opposed?
no.
Opposed.
Passes.
All right. Moving on,
Gotta go on to the next one.
Councilman McNair. Oh, right, the Eagle Scout. Then you're up, Bill.
Town Board Resolution 2025-999. Authorized purchase of a MRO maintenance repair operation faculty and grounds from Worth USA Inc. using interlock purchase system TIPS contract.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Town Board Resolution 2025-1000 to authorize purchases of removal of toxic and hazardous materials from 192 Branch Interior Services using Suffolk County contract. All in favor?
Aye.
Who's the second?
Bill.
Town Board Resolution 2025-1011 to authorize the supervisor to enter into an agreement with A. Martin Petrovic, Professor of Horticulture, to review the 2025 operation and environmental impact of the Bridge Golf Course.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Town Board Resolution 2025-1002 to authorize the supervisor to enter into an agreement with WSP USA, formerly Leggett, Brashears, and Graham, Inc., in connection with the 2025 groundwater monitoring and sampling services for the Bridge Golf Course. All in favor?
Aye.
Town Board Resolution 2025-1003 to authorize the supervisor to sign a 2025 agreement with the National Coalition Building Institute to provide employee survey and staff training.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Town Board Resolution 2025-1004 to authorize the supervisor to sign a contract amendment with Historical Concepts for additional design and visioning services for the comprehensive implementation of the Riverside Overlay District zoning. All in favor?
Aye. And Madam Clerk, may I be co-sponsor? Love historical concepts.
Town Board Resolution 2025-1005, co-sponsored with Councilman Isella. Authorize supervisor to sign contract with Cuff Technology, Inc. for document restoration.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Town Board Resolution 2025-1006, co-sponsored by Councilwoman McNamara, to authorize the supervisor to sign the documentation necessary to accept the New York State fiscal year 2022 Critical Infrastructure Grant Program for the Town of Southampton Police Department.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Town Board Resolution 2025-1007, co-sponsored by Councilwoman McNamara, to authorize the supervisor to sign the documentation necessary to accept the Tactical Targeted Grant Program from Homeland Security and Emergency Services.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Town Board Resolution 2025-1008 is withdrawn.
Why?
I'm sorry, we're withdrawing it. It's being recalled and amended later on in the walk-ons. Town Board Resolution 2025-1009, co-sponsored by Councilwoman McNamara, to award and authorize the purchase of one 2025 Ford F-250 Super Duty from Nielsen Ford of Morristown, Inc., using the New York State OGS contract for vehicles Class 1 through 8.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Town Board Resolution 2025-1010, co-sponsored by Councilmember Iacilli, to award and authorize the purchase of one 2025 Ford F-250 Super Duty from Scorpio Motors LLC, DBA, Greenwich Ford, using New York State OGS contract for vehicles Class 1 through 8.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
You couldn't get two from the same place.
Town Board Resolution 2025-1011, to recall and amend Resolution Number 2024-1162 to authorize the supervisor to sign a contract with Johnson Controls Security Solutions for alarm system monitoring and maintenance at the David Crohan Community Center, 655 Flanders Road in Flanders.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Town Board Resolution 1012 of 2025, recall and amend Town Board Resolution 2025-710, authorizing the supervisor to execute a park and recreation agreement with R is Rugby LLC for surf camp instruction.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Town Board Resolution 1013 of 2025, resolution to adopt the Town of Southampton Large Whale Emergency Response Plan. And I can get a second.
Second.
On the motion, Ryan Murphy is here if you would like to hear from Ryan.
Yes, let's hear from you, Ryan.
A whale story for us?
I'll be fast. Thank you for allowing me to say a couple of words, Board. I think this is a major accomplishment for us. It took us a little while to get there, and I really want to thank Rob DiGiovanni at Atlantic Marine Conservation Society. We have a great relationship with them between the town of Southampton and Atlantic Marine Conservation. They really work on a voluntary basis. They come out when they do our necropsies. That's at no cost to the town, and that relationship has existed for a very, very long time. And it's not just with the town of Southampton. That's a service that they provide throughout Long Island. And so this plan here really sets the stage for a successful event in the unfortunate circumstances where we have a large marine mammal come up on our shore, whether it's deceased or whether it's still, it's just a stranded animal. This really sets the stage for success for us. Any kind of emergency event, the first couple of minutes of it, if it doesn't go right, it's that foundation, right? If you don't set the foundation right for a house, the house is not going to hold up well. It stands a chance of falling. So the same thing happens here. By creating this, it really allows us to start the event off right, have the right people get involved in it, put the right things in action, get the right equipment to the scene, everything like that. And we're, as far as I'm aware of, we are the first municipality to actually develop a plan of this nature. And I have a funny feeling that it's going to be copied and emulated throughout the county, if not the island. And we'll have a lot of other municipalities that'll be stealing the work that we did on this and trying to customize it for their own jurisdiction. So I thank the board for supporting it from the beginning and for continuing to support it today and allowing us to cross this finish line.
We should really call it, oh, sorry, Michael, I didn't see, the Marine Mammal and Sea Turtle Emergency Response Plan, right? That's how it's discussed in the resolution.
Yeah, yes.
Not just whales.
Yes, that's just kind of the nickname that
They do dolphins too.
Director Murphy. So the in the body of the work, I've read through it. One of the things that I think is really important to highlight, and I just wanted to put it on the record, is that, because of the ancestral and sacred relationship that the indigenous communities on Long Island have with the ocean, as well as the marine life, in this plan, it does indicate the necessity of consultation with indigenous communities. And AMCs in particular does play a vital role in ensuring that our surrounding indigenous communities, including the Shinnecock Nation and many others, are included in the process.
100%. One of these necropsy events does not occur until the Native American cultures have an opportunity to go through the ceremonial aspects of what needs to be done. And I've had the fortunate ability to participate in one or two of those in the last few years. It's an experience to be able to participate in that ceremony, and it's kind of been an honor to be able to be included in it while on site for this. But we do involve the Shinnecock Nation, we do involve the Unkachunks, and any other native component to it that would be appropriate and necessary wherever the jurisdiction is that the incident happens to occur in.
Thank you.
So Ryan, I just want to say thank you for your response to Hurricane Erin, for everything.
Yes.
Not only keeping the board up to date, but also including the county on everything. The inclusion of sand that we needed to take care of the breaks and everything else that you did was commendable. And also I'd like to mention that you were the one who recognized the 30-year anniversary of the wildfires in West Hampton. Thank you for that, and thank you for having CRC post that. A lot of people appreciated that.
It's actually, I got the stats from Colleen earlier today, and we were at like 92,000 people in terms of the reach of that post. It's now taken top billing for the most active town posts to go on social media. So I think I honestly I'm gonna toot our own horn from public safety for that. I think we have the top two, because I think our reindeer on the rooftop and animal control Christmas post is also number 2. So,
You do a great job at community outreach, I have to say.
Thank you. Thanks. I appreciate the kind words about the hurricane recently too. Thank you.
Thank you for your work.
Thanks.
Did you want to amend the title, or are you leaving it as is?
I think we should have been the title.
It doesn't match what's inside.
Yes. I'm going to move to amend the title just for the sake of accuracy. If you don't mind, Ryan.
Of course.
To amend it to conform with the resolution where it's...
Southampton Marine Mammal and Sea Turtle Emergency Response Plan.
Okay, yeah.
All right.
Second.
So it's in the, where is it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Last resolve.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'll make a motion to approve as amended.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Well, good. I'm glad we got that done. Town Board Resolution 2025-1014, the 2025 notice to bidders for public safety building demolition.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Town Board Resolution 2025-1015 to amend the 2025 budget for various departments.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Town Board Resolution 2025-1016, co-sponsored with the entire board. This is to authorize first-time home buyers down payment assistance funding from the CHF.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Congratulations to the new home
Jason and
buyers.
Kimberly. Town Board Resolution 2025-1017, co-sponsored by the entire board, to authorize funding for rebates for the IA septic systems from the 2025 Community Preservation Fund water quality monies and to amend the 2025 capital budget.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Town Board Resolution 2025-1018 to authorize the town attorney to accept payment from USAA Insurance Company for damage to a Southampton Town Highway Department vehicle.
Second.
All in favor?
Did that one already?
Town Board Resolution 1020 of 2025, co-sponsored with Councilman Martell. Authorize waiver of Parks and Recreation Facility use fee for Hampton Bays Lions Club 14th Annual Over the Bridge 10K Run and 5K Run Walk on September 13th, 2025.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Town Board Resolution 2025-1021, co-sponsored by Councilwoman McNamara. Resolution authorizing acceptance of a maintenance bond for the Atlantic Golf staff housing, and I move to table this until September 9th.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Town Board Resolution 2025-1022, to accept the resignation of Brandon Kelly, Senior Park Attendant in the Parks and Recreation Department.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Town Board Resolution 2025-1023, co-sponsored by Councilmember Iacilli, to appoint Allison Palmore to Administrative Assistant in the Town Attorney's Office.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Town Board Resolution 2025-1024, to appoint a hearing officer.
Second.
All in favor?
Town Board Resolution 2025-1025, co-sponsored with Councilman Martell. This is to authorize the sole assessor to attend the 2025 NYSAA Annual Conference.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye, and I just want to commend our town tax assessor, Lisa Gore. I think she's just done a phenomenal job, and really want to just say thank you. And we're looking forward to seeing her take some of this work across the region.
Town Board Resolution 2025-1026, to terminate the driver messenger in the Housing and Community Development Department.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Town Board Resolution 2025-1027, co-sponsored with the entire board. Notice of public hearing to consider amending 235, Section 4, noise exceptions to allow for use of small speakers outdoors.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And that'll be on September 9th, along with many others. Town Board Resolution 2025-1028, co-sponsored by the entire board. A notice of public hearing to consider the acquisition of 3841 Lake Avenue in the hamlet of Northampton, New York, and to amend the CPF priority plan and CPF management and stewardship plan to include the property.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
September 9th for that one. Town Board Resolution 2025-1029, to accept a deed of residual fee from Blair K. Gaza for property located at West Hampton, Suffolk County Tax Map Number as indicated, to be maintained as open space pursuant to Section 247 General Municipal Law of the State of New York and pursuant to Southampton Town Code 244-4 for obtaining a development rights certificate.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Town Board Resolution 2025-1030, co-sponsored with Council members Martell and Pell. This is to authorize the use of CHF for the acquisition of 3 lots located at 47 Flanders Road, Riverside, for affordable housing apartment units. I think this was the resolution that we are to table. So I'll make a motion to table.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
What date?
September 9th.
We don't need more time?
I think we
Well,
need
we
more
can start with
time.
that. We can table it
we-
again if
We
we
can
need
table
to.
it again. Yeah.
Who was the second? Thank you. So, I'm sorry, you want to go to the following meeting?
Yeah, that's fine. And then we'll see where we're at.
Got it.
You know,
I
it
mean,
doesn't,
this
it
is the
doesn't,
one the community is supposed to talk to the CAC.
do you want to wait? Do you want us to do it
I'd
for a
prefer
later
to put
meeting?
it off another 2 weeks, yeah.
Okay, so, sorry, Madam Clerk. Can
That's
we-
okay, don't
can
be
we-
sorry, I just gotta check the date, October 14th.
Perfect.
That's good?
Wouldn't be September 20,
The second meeting in September, or you want to do it October, just
I
to say?
just said September 23rd, and then you said to push it off again.
No, I thought
So,
it was, I thought the next meeting was,
it was, and I had it on that,
Oh,
and then
and then
I was
the-
told to push it off again.
23rd.
Because you asked him if he wanted to wait
22.
more, so
2
now
meetings.
we're back to the 23rd.
23rd.
sorry about that.
No problem.
Town Board Resolution 2025-1031, road review application for 3 Spring Lane LLC, Suffolk County tax map number as indicated, situate at Sag Harbor, is accepted.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And then we have several walk-ons. The first is Town Board Resolution ID number 50653, a notice of public hearing to consider amending Town Code Chapter 298 taxation to amend Article 5 exemption for senior citizens to change a definition of income for purposes of the exemption.
Second.
All in favor?
And this is, did you want to explain that?
Yeah, that it's exempting Social Security.
Yeah, we're adding one word to the code.
Yeah, we're adding a word to the code. Right.
Yeah, it
we're
has to
adding
do
a
with the
word to
senior
code to
exemption
clarify
applications.
that-
Has to do with the senior exemption applications.
Yep.
It's just
That's Social Security.
which
shall
portion
not-
of your social security income
Won't be
will be
considered.
counted towards
Your
reaching the
income.
maximum or qualifying for the senior exemption.
Town Board Resolution ID number 50654, a notice of public hearing to consider amending the Town Code Chapter 298 taxation to amend Article 11, partial exemption for disabled persons with limited incomes, to change a definition of income for purposes of the exemption.
Second.
All in favor? I think that's the same.
And that's the same idea.
Same thing. And I do want to thank again Assessor Gore for her work and helping us with this.
And Kathleen Murray.
And Kathleen.
Been very
Yep.
involved as
Yep.
well.
Thank you, everybody. Jim, you've sat in a couple of meetings.
Yeah. It's a tricky issue. It's each municipality treats it differently.
Jim to stop talking.
I think he's done. Yeah.
Okay. 50711, co-sponsored with the Councilman McMahon, award and authorize supervisor to sign contract with Chesterfield Associates, Inc. for the North Sea Road shoreline stabilization.
Second.
All in favor?
I would thank the Highway Department for this. It's been a while coming. They had some work to do with the ECD, and they worked it all out now, and it's moving forward. It's definitely needed.
Thank you, Highway.
Yes, most of the holdup was the gate.
Town Board Resolution ID number 50720, notice of public hearing to consider all water quality improvement projects proposed for the 2025 Community Preservation Fund 20% Water Quality Improvement Plan Grant Funding.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So that'll be on September 9th.
Yes.
Town Board Resolution.
What that should, Supervisor, we should note that that's going to be a special meeting at 10 a.m.
Exactly. Thank you for that. Yes.
In the morning, Mike.
Yeah, 10 to 12 or
I'll
so.
be late.
Town Board Resolution ID number 50725, the warrant number 16, capital number 16, CPF number 16, dated August 26, 2025.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Notice of public hearing, Town Board Resolution ID number 50733, co-sponsored with Councilwoman McNamara. Notice of public hearing to consider a change of target area for a parcel currently designated as agricultural lands preservation target area to open space target area for CPF acquired parcels located at 66, 68, 78 Sag Road and 135 Poxabog Lane, Village of Sagaponack, to consider amending the CPF management and stewardship plan.
So the notice says 1 PM and not a special meeting at 10 in the notice, so that might need to be amended.
It's not 4:10. It's not meant to, is it say 10?
No, you want it at 1 o'clock?
Yep.
Or, okay.
It's
No,
not.
we want it at 10.
We do?
Yes.
Why?
Because we're having a special meeting at 10 a.m. It says right here, resolved that the town board of town of Southampton hereby
We're on-
directs that a public hearing should be held at a special town board meeting on September 9th
We're on
at
this
10
one.
a.m.
We're on this one.
No. We're talking about we're talking about the water quality, right, Kim?
This is the one, the target area.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, that one's supposed to be at 1 o'clock. Yeah,
1
yeah.
o'clock is fine. Yep.
We're doing the water quality at 10.
Only the water
Just the
quality
water.
one is at 10.
Yeah, this is not
Sorry,
water
I'm
quality.
sorry.
That's okay. That's okay.
Did you finish reading it?
I did.
Did you
Yes.
vote on it?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Town Board Resolution ID number 50735 to authorize a change order for the Bridgehampton and Sagaponack Beach Erosion Control District Nourishment Projects.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And Town Board Resolution ID number 50736 to recall and amend Town Board Resolution 2025-1008 award and authorize the supervisor to sign a contract for G. Melomo, Inc. for Southampton Animal Shelter sanitary system upgrade.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, well, if there's no other business,
I don't get this one.
Yeah, it's very minimal, right?
No, but it says that today we authorized this and they've withdrawn their bid. Now that we're recalling that resolution, we withdrew it. Is that the one we withdrew?
well,
Do we need this one if we withdrew it?
we have to award it.
This was supposed to be the
Right,
place.
so
Well,
maybe
we
it's
didn't, but we
just
withdrew that one, so.
Yeah, so we need this one to award it, but it's not recalling and amending the prior one. So really, this should be called award and authorize the supervisor.
Or
Can we
have
just
to-
change that?
We have to recall the vote. We have to vote to recall the vote now.
Oh, yeah.
No, it said, this is what I'm not understanding, right? This resolution that it says that we authorized, right? We withdrew it. We didn't authorize it. So we don't need to remove it.
No, that's true. We don't need to remove the prior one, but we do need to
Then why did we withdraw it?
authorize me to sign the new.
It says, this is authorizing you to sign a contract with the one that withdrew their bid.
So we didn't have to withdraw the other
So
resolution.
do we need to go back and approve the previous
Yes.
one?
Yes.
Or we can just leave that withdrawn
Or
and
just leave it, yeah.
not approve this one, right?
Why would we do that?
Yeah, why didn't we just withdrew it, so we don't need to.
Recall it.
Yeah.
It was never approved.
Is this a separate matter, though?
This is the contracts department.
No, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they thought, I don't know if they thought that we couldn't withdraw it, so they put on a resolution to recall it.
Well, Maria, you made a note that you wanted the resolution withdrawn.
Yeah,
So-
because I knew that we weren't going with them, so, but I
then we don't need
suppose
to
we
do
could have
this.
just passed it and then withdrew it, but I knew it was in the packet for
Why would you
later.
do that at the same meeting?
So I just
So
thought
this one we don't even have to vote on.
So, Madam Clerk.
You want to withdraw this one too?
Yeah, I mean, we already,
Do you want to call and rescind this?
yeah, rescind.
Oh, you're taking it away.
But
That's
we
what you wanna
withdrew
do,
the
right?
other resolution.
Yes, so now you're
So we
withdrawing
didn't
a
need this
withdrawal.
one. We didn't need this. We didn't need the last resolution, so how do we get it off?
Put it
the-
on it.
How do
So
we
you
get
just
it?
want to
Yeah,
recall it. and
that's what I was
rescind it, or
saying.
what?
So
It doesn't make sense to do that. You have to approve that one.
I move to rescind.
Watch the bouncing ball here.
I move to rescind resolution ID number 50736.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. And that fixes it. We didn't approve
think
either
that
one of
fixes
them.
So we didn't
You
award
need
it,
to
we didn't
approve that
award it,
one? No.
Ken.
You don't want to approve the other?
Not to simply withdraw it in the same
So
meeting.
who's doing it?
I have no idea.
We're gonna have to need a new resolution to award it to somebody who's doing it.
Yeah, we need someone to do it.
I think that's
was
who's
the
doing
second?
it.
But you don't, but it's not.
Recall
So
and rescind.
I didn't get, hold on a second, because I didn't,
Seconded it.
what page is that on, Jim?
This is truly
It's
who's on
page
first.
15.
Sorry?
Page 15. It's not the board's intent to award this to this
No.
outfit, right? Okay, then you're good.
Are we, is that, so I didn't hear about this. You had a note about,
Yeah, I just had a note.
And I think contracts didn't know that we could withdraw the resolution, so they just put on a walk-on to basically rescind the one that we.
Rescind it.
okay.
The names are the same.
Okay.
I'm glad that we got that settled.
But that means we don't have a contract.
Right, I think that was the intent.
Somebody's gotta,
Yeah, we were gonna award it to this guy, and then on this one, we were withdrawing it.
TBD.
We don't want to award it.
No,
'cause we're
so
not
we
doing it.
withdrew it.
block on that.
Why don't we want to award it?
Because they're not doing it.
They
So
withdrew
they
their-
withdrew their application, they withdrew their,
Oh, they didn't want to.
Traffic, Bill said. Michael, can you do something about that?
Working on it.
Yeah, they withdrew their bid, that's what it said. Okay, well, if no one else has any other comments or concerns, then I move to close the meeting.
second.
Adjourn the meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
I need to go defrost my kneecaps.